Okay, Reverend Crystal Cox. I don't remember where I'm from or who I'm this or that. I don't remember nothing. Okay, this is a ramble about things and stuff. Oh, God. This is... Okay, so many of you have seen my... umpteenth is a number. Okay, you've seen my videos on arginine. People are like, well, why don't you sell arginine anymore, right? Because arginine dissolves artery plaque. Arginine can reverse stroke. L-arginine increases nitric oxide, and it clears out all your arteries, and it's just amazing for a million things, right? So why? Well, in growing up, I wasn't really around a lot of alternative medicine, but my parents weren't on prescription drugs either. Which later I learned that, kind of is the norm in most houses. My parents would do like vinegar water sometimes. My mom got into wheat. She was into local fresh, milk without, being pasteurized from the local dairy. And so there was things that she was trying to introduce to her family to, which would be me. What I'm saying is there was a few things, like drinking vinegar. My dad did, oddly enough, he did WD-40 on his different joints, and it worked. So he was open to different cures and different things, and bag balm, on his hands and gloves, and over that. So there was a little bit. Okay, so then, as I got older, I'm like 16, 17, I met people that were into more natural stuff, like, monitoring your moon time, paying attention to your cycle, vitamins, minerals, different herbs and things. And in my early 20s, I went to college for forestry, and they teach you indicator plants for a forest, like what will a forest be in 100 years, blah, blah, blah. So they taught me like 20 plants. I learned hundreds and wrote a book on local medicinal and herbal plants. And I added the weeds, the noxious weeds in Montana that they would hire people to spray, like St. John's wort. But yet, it's like $15 an ounce. People use it for antidepressants. Every single thing they sprayed, burdock, amazing blood cleanser. But the livestock, gets in their fur because it's got all those burrs, fur. And so, I learned that the forest is just full of them, right? So in writing that, I created this moment where I was so excited about something called kinnikinick, uva ursi, which is this little plant in the forest, and it had high amounts of quercetin, and then what quercetin does. Just this magical moment of, wow, right? And I tried to share it with people, but I couldn't. And so that's when I thought, well, I could do an alternative medicine, a healing library. That's what I want to do. And that was in my early 20s. And so I got donations from Cryon, Barbara Marciniak. I started networking with other libraries around the world. But, the internet was just new. I barely had learned how to use whatever email platform it was. And I realized that there wasn't enough money and resources, and I was going to have to create my own. So, and then after that, I got into real estate, all kinds of other things. But I always studied alternative medicine, always into it. Okay, so high doses of vitamins and minerals to cure things. Okay, so high doses of vitamin C, vitamin D. And in the arginine, we helped develop the product, and the 5,000 IU of vitamin D was a big deal. Okay, so juicing, carrot juice is the closest to blood in your... it's close to blood in its chemical makeup. But the closest thing is alfalfa chlorophyll. Okay, so I learned, studied, taught, did alternative medicine consultant for decades about all of this, right? Because you can dissolve artery plaque, and you can, all of these natural cures. And I had a vision in my 20s, and I saw that at first it'll be, I've shown this clearly, at first you'll understand herbs, and, okay, so in a physical way. Then you'll plant the plants, like comfrey and burdock, and you'll have them all in your garden, and you'll ingest them. And then you will just be in the energy of the plant. Like, you can just put your hands in the energy field of the plant. And then you can call in the energy of the plant. And then the plant has a certain frequency, you can call in that, okay? But it was a denser time back in the day. And so you kind of needed these physical things in your physical body. And so I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of studying tons about every vitamin, every mineral, every herb, every cure. And and Rife machines, and we had the ionic foot bath, to draw out the toxins. The colon cleanses and skin cleanses and fasts and water fasts, juice fasts. We did this thing called the nasty drink, where you in the bentonite clay and it bulks up your colon and stuff, and ropes of old stuff comes out. Did all of that. Also, I was still kind of in this alternative medicine study, energy writing, when I did black salve for the first time. And which is what this is on my eye, not this newest one. That was my recent concussion. But this, and this one is, I was 7 going under I was riding a Hot Wheels. This is how you ride a Hot Wheels. This is my legs, not my hands. And I cut my eye underneath a 4-wheel drive truck. And then, but this other one, all on the same side, I was forming a brain tumor, and I used black salve to draw it out. And since then, I have helped dozens of people use black salve to cure cancer and ailments. Yes, cure cancer. Tons of cures, okay? And so also then, 20s and 30s, read all Edgar Cayce, Renee Case, the high oxygen therapy with Wolf, that guy. I hadn't got into belief stuff, okay? So, Alright, so high vitamin D, high oxygen therapy, a hydrogen peroxide in the blood, drinking food grade hydrogen peroxide, the Gershon diet, like I said, Essiac tea, Edgar Cayce, and all of these people that ran out of America because we're not allowed to cure anything, right? And still they tell you, like with Facebook censoring you now, that there's no cure, right? All of these diseases they throw in, no cure. I go to the doctor's office and there'd be like, 50 different booklets for all these different diseases. Stupid, doesn't fucking matter. Okay, excuse my language. Your body knows what to do. Okay, so you have a dis-ease, right? So your body's out of balance. Your body knows what it needs, and it doesn't need some man-made chemical from some greedy pharmaceutical company based on money, right? For some reason, that just reminded me of how the climate change stuff, right? So for some reason, there's a whole bunch of people who believe that if we tax the people that are creating the pollutants, so money, to the politicians, that will save the environment. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so there's always been cures for cancer. I've always helped people cure cancer. Never been a thing for me. I've never got a mammogram, never will, not for any fucking reason. All right, get the kids out of the room. I can't stop cussing. Okay, so mammograms cause cancer. Now, if you have a lump and you get it biopsied and it's cancerous, the biopsy spreads the cancer. So why not live a life of where you're just knocking the cancer out? High alkaline diets, different cleanses, the cancer's gone. I was still in this, let's call it more of a 3D alternative healing when I helped family members heal themselves of breast cancer. We did high alkaline therapy, black salve, bloodroot internally, high oxygen therapy, which you can do with actual oxygen and with deep breathing, definitely, but also intravenously hydrogen peroxide, food grade. There's a place in Butte, Montana that does that, and probably other places. But and we did something called dendritic cell therapy, where you use your own blood as a cure for whatever you got. Okay, so all of that I'm still going to call 3D medicine because you need a physical thing. Right? So you have a pill, you make a tea. Essiac tea is like this big process. It's wonderful. I've done tons of it. And like I said, counseled people. The doctor said, oh, you got 4 months to live, go home and die. And it's like 15 years now, and they haven't died. And black salve does that, bloodroot. Ingrid Naiman's book on cancer salves is amazing. It's all kinds of other different kinds of salves. Okay, so I'm going to do a second part to this, probably on and on and on and on, about where I'm at now. But I'm 50 now. I'm 50. Yay! I'm so excited about being 50. Okay, so 20s, 30s, maybe even in my early 40s, still into healing. High vitamin doses heal you, right? Never into Western medicine. Sometimes I'd have a really bad throat thing, you know, like strep throat. It would hurt, be so painful. I would go and try to get help. They don't cure you, and it's just a bunch of bull. Now, homeopathy is a vibrational medicine. I wasn't really into that so much back then. I did Apis mel for when I got, you know, like a mosquito bite, worked really well. And I did the Arnica montana for, you know, swelling and stuff like that. That was back then it was the only vibrational medicine I was really into. I had all the books on vibrational medicine, but I didn't understand all of the channeled information, all of the information I was getting, all the new age, all the health information. I understood it in a 3D way, and okay, make this, eat this, there you go. And I had a shift in 2016, a massive shift in how I view the body healing, and we'll talk about that in the next layer here. But if you get alkaline, so back then, so 20s, 30s, 40s, only eat organic best I could, right? So get rid of Coke, get rid of sugar, get rid of, you know, cancer needs sugar to survive. And then you had that cancer, once your parents or someone close to you has had cancer, you're like, you got that cancer monkey on your back. We're like, that's going to cause cancer, that's going to cause cancer, because shampoo causes cancer. The estrogen lights at the stores cause cancer. Certain types of plastic feed the cancer, feed the estrogen. There was a ton to it, and to consulting people on healing their cancer and their ailments within this 3D system where you take something. Okay? So that's where we're at now. Like I said, I'm going to do more to this. But so comfrey. There's allantoin, and I think that's either in comfrey or garlic. But comfrey is one of the only things, so you grind it up, you put a poultice on a broken bone, actually regrows bone. Okay, burdock, massive for bones, for blood, for tons of stuff. Burdock root is a freaking miracle. Okay, and so high alkaline, like cucumber juice, you know, celery juice, quinoa, you know, you don't eat meat when you're on your anti-cancer diet, and especially pork, like if you're doing black sap and stuff. So all of these things, I don't want to repeat myself, SEACT, they're all just miracles. Each one in itself is a miracle, which should tell you that it's not a miracle. I mean, the Native Americans had cancer. That's where black salve came from. It's bloodroot. It's a plant. You know, so they would eat meat from animals, right? So sometimes they're going to get worms, parasites, some sort of a cancerous thing. But if you never knew you had cancer, so what, right? We go in and get your cancer check. Then you can see if you have cancer. But if you never went in, you wouldn't know, and it wouldn't even bug you. I had an aunt once that had a brain tumor, and it affected her, right? So her vision was impaired. She had different issues. And because of blood pressure, and then, so it impaired her actual life. So when you go in, that's different, right? But, and the brain's different. I still would do black salve, but, most of the time, like, when, my mom found her breast cancer, she just had she'd slipped on something, and she got kind of a bruise, and she went and got the bruise checked. They're like, oh, gotta find some cancer. They found the cancer. They found cancer in lymphs. They wanted to remove both breasts and radiate and chemo, and whoa. Thankfully, she did alternative cures. It's been about 10 years, and they just don't know what happened to that tumor. I don't know. Cancer is natural, okay? It's like the cold. It's always been curable, okay? So, you know, raspberry for, you know, like cramps and stuff, and there's tons and tons of herbs. You know, I guess I'm going to stop that there for now, because I could go on and on and on. I'm not there now, but I did this, and I counseled on this in my 20s and 30s, and there's just massive amounts of cures. Also, I did study Rife then, but not too much, which was the frequency machine, and we'll talk about that here in part 2. But what really knocked the cancer out was, okay, so cancer is hiding in this protein shell. And in order to get in there and zap it out with alkaline, so if you're doing food grade peroxide, you're doing high alkaline diet, high alkaline water, if you do a high protease enzyme, it eats that outer shell. So it eats all the excess in your body, especially when you do it on an empty stomach. And I did that a lot, too, on an empty stomach. because it would digest all the old stuff, and it'll digest that outer shell on the cancerous cells. And so my mind's running away with me because I'm so excited to talk about like what I believe now. But I'm just kind of giving you a background on the alternative medicine which I come from. You know, eating organics, eating a certain thing, actual physical herbs, teas, tinctures, decoctions, poultices, you know, herbs, minerals, high alkaline, dendritic cell therapy, all of that, okay? That's all physical. And I did that for decades and counseled people that were told to go home and die, and healed them every frickin' time. And I sold L-arginine. Yes, it was an MLM. That just happened to be, but that's where we created the product. And I loved the product. I mostly did marketing and did wholesale resale and did it for myself. I had bad angina where I'd have like a lightning strike go through me and just, and that, that dissolved the artery plaque. I know several people who are almost completely blocked, and the arginine dissolves artery plaque. Another thing, if you got heart stuff, Hawthorne, Miracle, L-arginine, 5,000 milligrams, also with L-citrinine and vitamin D, which is in that drink that we had sold. And there's lots of people out there selling it now. And this is 3D, okay? Once we go into 5D healing, that'll be part 2. Apparently I better get there now because I'm just so excited. Bye for now.